All right, a short video for you to get back to your weekend. Geometry students, we've been talking about parallel and perpendicular lines. We are now going to talk about what does that mean when we look at lines on a coordinate system. This should all be review from an algebra class, but if it's not, please let me know and I can refer you to algebra videos to give you a deeper understanding. My belief is that all of you know what slope is. Slope of a non-vertical line is the ratio of the vertical change, the change in y, over the change in x. So how do you calculate this? By taking the difference of y coordinates and dividing by the difference of x coordinates. It does not matter which y coordinate goes first, just as long as the corresponding x coordinate is first. So you could also say y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. Notice it says non-vertical line because a vertical line has an undefined slope. The reason for that is the change of x is 0 and you can't divide by 0. I was thinking earlier today that I would love to put in a review of the midpoint formula and the distance formula because we have been not so great with those two formulas. So please review those from earlier geometry units. I believe that's in Unit 1. So you might want to check that video out tonight as well. Anyway, when we talk about slope, we talk about these different values here. A negative slope falls as you go from left to right. A positive slope rises as you go to left from right. A zero slope is horizontal, no vertical change, but a infinite horizontal change. And undefined slopes are vertical. There is no horizontal change. There's no change in x, only a change in y. So take a look here. If I was to take 2 points on n, say this point here was negative 5 comma 2, and this point here was negative 5 comma negative 1. If you were to do the slope definition with those 2 points, you would say 2 minus negative 1 divided by negative 5 minus negative 5, and you end up getting 3 over 0, which is undefined. If we did it for this point here, call that negative 5 comma negative 4, and maybe this point over here, which might be 3 comma negative 4. If you were to take the slope between those points, it would be negative 4 minus negative 4 over 3 minus negative 5, and that ends up getting you 0 over 8, which is 0. So as long as you know that 3 divided by 0 is undefined and 0 divided by a number is 0, you don't have to memorize these. What is helpful is knowing that a horizontal line will always have the equation y equals a number, and a vertical line will always have the equation x equals a number. It's important to say that zero slope is different than no slope. Another important attribute, the book that we're using called These Postulates. I'd like to look up some of my old college notebook stuff to see if these things can be proven, but we don't need to worry about proving them right now. Two lines are parallel if they have the same slope, and any two vertical lines are parallel since they both have undefined slopes. We can't say they have the same technically, but they do. So lines are parallel if their slopes are the same, and then lines are perpendicular if and only if their product is negative 1. I love this definition. This is the serious math definition. If two numbers have a product of negative 1, then that means if one of them is a divided by b, the other one is the opposite of b divided by a. So you may have heard a different way of thinking about perpendicular lines as opposite reciprocals. So opposite meaning they have different signs, positive here, negative here, and reciprocals are that special relationship that you want to know. A over B, the reciprocal is B over A. Again, horizontal lines are perpendicular to vertical lines. Well, if we know a horizontal line is 0 or 0 over 1, then a vertical line, or the reciprocal of that, would be 1 over 0, which is undefined. So even though we specify this special relationship, you could think of it, and I could put the negative there, it's still undefined. You could think of it as, oh, look at this, undefined and 0. You could put the negative here too, right? Because 0 can't be positive or negative, so then that's positive. But I digress. So anyway, that's pretty much it for your geometry video. Slopes of lines, this is the big equation. I think it's all review. You're going to be writing equations of lines and graphing equations of lines, so that's good review too from your algebra class. All right, have a good weekend. Peace.